Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check very quickly how to play with Sora. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, Sora is a human type protect character, and unfortunately as a range attacker she has stiff competition, but let's see how well she performs in this role. So, first of all, let's read the skills, and since Sora has many details on her skills, we're gonna be doing the analysis once we check all the effects that are available. So let's start with Celestial Fox. Range attack, during normal attacks hold attack, 14-second cooldown, shoots arrows in the sky that deal damage over time for 3 seconds in an area. 1 green increases skill damage by 25%, 1 blue increases attack range by 30%, 1 red increases the duration by 1 second. Visage Art God's Maw. Range attack, hold the bait, 14-second cooldowns, makes a great sword and swings it down to perform an area attack. Gains super armor while using the skill. Set 1 knocks down the enemy. Set 2 adds aftershock to the attack. Set 3 increase critical rate by 50%. Kurumochi Archery Chosen. So, range attack, dash attack, 11-second cooldowns, perform an air attack that shoots arrows 3 times in a row. On main green, shoots 4 additional arrows. Main blue reduces the enemy's damage by 10% for 10 seconds. Main red increases speed by 10% for 10 seconds. Foxfire. Range attack, immediately before enemy attack dash. 15-second cooldown, increases speed for 6 seconds. And adds 2 homing arrows to every attack when doing an extreme dodge. 2 green shoots 1 additional arrow, 2 blue increase damage of the arrows by 100%, 2 red restore HP by 3% of damage dealt by arrows. Visage Art Fox God's Arrow. Range attack, hold attack, 18-second cooldown, perform a range attack by materializing and shooting a giant arrow, gain super armor while using the skill. 1 blue, the arrow knocks back the enemy. 2 blue, restore HP by 5% of damage dealt. 3 blue, increase skill damage by 150%. Foxfire Oboroguruma. Range attack, immediately after attack evade. 3-second cooldown, move to a certain direction and shoots a cluster bomb that deals an area attack upon landing and shoots 3 homing arrows. 2 green increases speed by 15% for 5 seconds. 2 blue reduce the enemy's speed by 20% for 7 seconds. 2 red shoots 2 additional arrows. Taimanin Art Fox Flame. Range attack, enhanced normal attacks and the last attack grants super armor. 1 supporter increases attack speed by 5%, 2 supporters increase attack speed by an additional 10%, 3 supporters increase particle charge by 50%. Kuramochi Archery Udachi. Range attack, hold the bait, 13-second cooldowns, perform a range attack by shooting arrows 3 times while moving in a specified direction. Set 1 adds 2 additional attacks. Set 2, the arrows penetrate the enemy. Set 3, increase critical damage by 250%. Binding Fox Flame. Range attack, immediately after enemy attack evade. 8-second cooldown, dodges backwards and shoots a bomb that ensnares the enemy for 3 seconds. 2 green reduce the damage by 20% for 10 seconds. 2 blue increase the duration of snare by 1 second. 2 red increase the damage by 20% for 10 seconds. Lastly, we have the Awakening skill, Flare of Grudge. Immediately before enemy attack, evade. 15-second cooldown, reflect 50% of damage taken for 6 seconds when doing an extreme dodge. 3 green increase damage by 30% for 10 seconds. 3 blue increase the reflected damage by 40%. 3 red increase the defense by 30% for 10 seconds. So, just by seeing these skills and the commands that they activate with, we can see a ton of issues with Sora. which is really unfortunate because she performs okay as a range attacker. So, what are the issues? This is one of the strongest skills she has, Celestial Fox, but most of the skills are gonna have the same issue, and it's long cooldowns. Especially for a triple color skill, this has not the effect to reduce the cooldown with one of the set effects, which is unfortunate, and the duration of the skill is pretty low. I mean, if we were able to reduce the cooldown, it wouldn't really matter that much. Besides, it has a very good amount of hits to compensate for the short duration. So it's very strong, even though it has a small flaw in the cooldown. Then, God's Maw. God's Maw has excellent base damage, because this is one of the skills that have critical rate increase, and those already deal a good amount of damage naturally. And they deal even more when they crit, of course. So, the Aftershock is nice, and the knockdown, though it makes sense, it doesn't help that much. I mean, yeah, you're going to interrupt the mobs, but not the boss. So, this skill really needs an extra effect. The super armor is appreciated, but similar to Fox God's Arrow, these two have the almost the same problems. They fortunately do have the super armor, which is very nice, but the casting time is very slow for both of these skills. The AoE is sufficient for this skill in particular. The knockback and knockdown of these skills are okay, but honestly, Ensnare on this skill would be way better. And I don't know, an attack buff or speed buff of 10% for 5 seconds would be nice on this. I don't know. Whatever. Any kind of buffs. Because as they are not that proficient. They work, but they are nothing to scoff at. Well, not to scoff at, to be proud of. And also, Fox God's Arrow has two other flaws. The damage, even with the damage increase, is not that impressive, which is really unfortunate. It is not good for dealing with bosses. And the AoE of this skill, it is basically a tube, a cylinder. So that is not a good AoE, because if the enemies aren't in front of you, you're not gonna hit them. And if they move, there's a high chance that you miss. So this skill, I mean, the core of it is nice. The kind of thing it should do is fine. But I think that it should be something like this, but bigger. Or I don't know, guys. What do you think? Perhaps having like a pulling effect on a certain area, and then you hit that area, that would also be nice. I don't know, but there's many flaws on this character. Let's see. Shosen is completely fine for the most part. Just one thing, you need to be aware that this shoot for additional arrows is not do for additional hits. It's like these arrows. No, not these ones. Yeah, like those arrows. So keep that in mind. Firefox, it has excellent utility. The issue with Firefox is the damage. The damage is way too small compared to other skills from other characters. It's just, and I'm not comparing it with obviously pure skills, but rather double color skills. It's just not impressive. Though I'll admit, even with blue, it's not that great. But the utility you do get on red, it is pretty valuable. You don't have to babysit Sora. So, for the most part, you do not want to use this as a damaging skill, but rather as a utility skill so that you have healing. Then, we have Oboroguruma. Oboroguruma has a big problem, and it's that we have 3 skills that um, activate after enemy attack. So one is a counter, two are perfect dodge. So this kind of a skill, which is a follow-up attack, does not pair well with that. The effects are pretty decent for the most part. The damage is not impressive, similar to Foxfire, but the utility is fine. The cooldown is fine, but we cannot use it effectively because of the other kind of skills that we have. Um, Fortunately, Sora has a really good basic enhancer that increases speed, but her basics don't do that much damage. And even though you can pair this with Foxfire, it is not going to be super amazing on the damage department, which is unfortunate. You want this as a utility pick for ulti or weapon active strategies, which Sora can do, by the way. Then, and you can, with the speed increase, you can transition very quickly into Overgrooman, so it's not that bad, but you're doing basics. That's like, it is not the same as using a quick skill and then doing the follow-up attack. Then we have Yudachi. Yudachi is pretty decent, you know? I mean, I used to think that this skill had an issue and it was the AoE. But honestly, if you position yourself right, you're going to be able to destroy webs of enemies, because with the penetration property, you're going to do something like I don't like to say a cone or not even a semicircle. It's like a pixel slide, but you don't have that AoE per se. You have like specific lines, as you can see. This line over here, then this one. In the middle, there's no damage, but I mean, I don't know how it does it, but it works. It can clear waves of enemies. That's all I'm gonna say. It is not that great to deal single target damage, but fortunately, this doesn't have super armor, but it doesn't need it because you reposition yourself and the enemy doesn't hit you. So it is perfectly fine as it is. I would just give it maybe more damage. Binding Foxflame. Okay, so this is a terrible concept. They always, Grammary always screw up with range attackers. They make them weak on purpose, I think, because they don't give them good counters. The range attacker doesn't want to have a counter to begin with, but if they need a lot of utility. They need to be able to escape or something. And those give you a snare, which is pretty nice. But you have to take a hit, and it is more of an effect that should be there, yes. But you should receive buffs if you're gonna be punished by using this skill. Reduce the enemy damage by 20% for 10 seconds. 20% big number, 10 seconds good duration, but damage reduction from the enemy? Not the kind of effect that one would want. Increase the duration of a snare. Nice, but it's only one target. It is not that great. Honestly, I think that this skill should be AoE, so that it can snare a bunch of enemies, not just one. But even so, I don't think it gives enough value. Then, increase damage by 20% for 10 seconds. Well, that one is good, I won't deny. The blue and the red are kind of useful, but again, do you want to take a hit? Kind of rough. Even if I can heal myself, I don't see me getting near to the enemy just so that I can activate that effect. With a range attacker, it doesn't make that much sense. And then Flare of Grudge, similar to Binding Foxflame. It is a dodge attack, perfect dodge, which is not difficult to activate and it's worth to do. Unlike the counter, because you don't have to take a hit and you get benefit. The 30% damage increase on 10 seconds, it's amazing. But everything else on this skill is terrible. Reflective damage, wait. I am a range attacker. I'm not going to receive damage. Well, perhaps I receive damage, yes. But the idea is not that I am next to the enemy. They shouldn't be able to hit me in the first place. So why does this reflect damage? This is not a tank. And everything else on this skill follows that idea that this character should take damage. And it's like, that's not how range attackers work. I mean, in case of an emergency, I get you want something like that, but it's more like a passive effect that you would like to have, not an active skill that you need a skill slot to use. So yeah, Sora is having a rough start, but we can do things with her. Obviously, she doesn't have an awakening skill, unfortunately, a leader skill. I mean, which it is bad. She doesn't have a limited weapon yet, which is also pretty unfortunate. So we'll have to wait. But she does have Photon Arrow, which is an anti-demon weapon. And she has Freikugel's Amel, which is a pretty good weapon, by the way, for specific builds. So let's test her very quickly. So we're gonna start with red. So we're gonna use Freikugel's Amel, 5 out of 5 plus 12, and whatever weapon, 5 out of 5 plus 13. Critical damage, mega damage, whatever mega damage on the sub slot. As you saw, she's level 87. She's gonna be using Yudachi, of course, because we're going red, pure red. Then we're gonna use Chosen to get a speed increase, and we're gonna use Foxfire. So Foxfire's benefits a lot on red, not only because of the HP recovery, but also because of the speed increase, because you're gonna be able to do more extra hits by being faster. If you can add the basic enhancer, that would be fine. That would be amazing. So now for supporters, since we have the critical damage increase, we want to use a critical rate supporter. Unfortunately, there's not that many options on red, so we're using Prophet Eleanor on the main so that we also get an extra little bit of damage. Barretta and Yukina. So Yukina you may change if you want, because as I mentioned, we have to rely a little bit on those basics attacks. So maybe using Fuyutsuki, it's a better idea. Depending on your weapon, you can use Kirara or Susune. There's also Stella, so use whatever you want that you can use. Then we have the customs. Pretty unfortunate that Sora has been forgotten for the most part. I mean, she's starting to receive new customs, but I mean, look, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 customs, and the one that you can craft. So, that's rough. Anyways, let's see those stat training and let's test her. So there's not gonna be any issue with speed increase. Not the speed increase, with wait a moment, this is not the stage. Those are not the enemies. Did I move 1 down? 2 down. That's weird. Okay, again. So she's not going to have that much issue with clearing the waves, as I mentioned. We do this and then hold evade. And as you can see, she's doing perfectly fine. Yeah, she's not demolishing everything. As I mentioned, she's lacking in the damage department. She has enough damage to fill a slot, but not enough to substitute Astaroth or be on par with Astaroth. That's all I'm gonna say. So it is pretty unfortunate. Like this. Having HP recovery is really useful. And thanks to that, there's something that you can do with her on BR. You can just use her as a ranged attacker on a full damaging build. Like this and this. You don't have to worry about having a healer. You can just use other characters who do have their own healing skills. And you don't have to worry about a healer, which is nice. You just do full DPS and that's it. Unlike Astaroth, that's kind of one thing that she's better at compared to Astaroth. But, I mean, it is not the greatest. Like, I don't think that justifies a slot in a team comp for Sora. She can, but she isn't proficient at it. So, now, let's check very quickly. And this, and this. So, as you can see, she does deal with most of the enemies, but she still needs to position herself properly so that she can attack all of the enemies. I don't want to use actives or anything. Besides, I don't need it in red. Red and blue do not care about damage received because both builds can heal. But green, you want to use every resource available at your disposal. The ultimate, the active of the supporter. Trust me, you do want to do that. Done. Yeah. So it does work. Another, well, one of the two big issues that Sora has, it is the cooldown issue and also the AoE issue, because as you saw, most of her skills don't have good AoE. These two do have a good AoE, but everything else is not that great. Oh, and I forgot. The blue effect on Chosen is not that great. Let's hope that they change it. I mean, it's gonna make a ton of sense that they change those damage reduction that don't do anything for her. Now let's go with this, but we're gonna change this for Sora. Sora. Yeah. Because I used that build when I had this unenchanted, but now it's enchanted. So, on green we're gonna use Chosen, because it is a good damaging skill, easy to activate. God's Mouth to deal a ton of damage, absurd amounts of damage. And Flare Grudge. Flare Grudge, it is definitely useful on green, because of that huge damage increase on a huge duration. I mean, it is a game changer. But the effect of the skill, the main effect of the skill doesn't really matter. So, we're using, of course, Sora. Just any supporter that increases your damage is good. Suruga and Kaoru. Yeah, let's test this super quickly. So, I just do this. So preferably you do the dodge first, but as you can see I don't need it, I have enough damage. So now I'm gonna do the combo properly, because now we have a boss. So I just wait and do this, reposition, and use God's Mouth. And you see how I clear almost every mob in one hit? Yeah, that's why we do this. Green is probably the strongest build, damage-wise. The other two do have the benefit of having HP recovery, but depending on the situation, that might not be enough. You do want to have HP recovery. Like, the last part of the stage, I might have problems, but I'll see if I manage. Okay, I did, I hit. There. Nice. Then I do this and I reposition, and I'm gonna use the ultimate now, because as I mentioned, I don't have healing, so I want to deal with this ASAP. Come on. Like this. Okay, nice. And done. Yeah. Pretty simple, as long as you use everything at your disposal on green, because you don't have that HP recovery. Then on blue, you're gonna see, I'm gonna change this blue. Like, using this combo is nice, Reina and Keito, but unfortunately it's been a while since we received the rerun, so newer players won't have them. Try to go with whatever you have that increases your damage. Let's see. it is a little bit rough on a mixed stage. Especially with a human. Okay, instead of Kaito, I'm going to put Lilim. Yeah, a human, protect, and range attacker are a little bit difficult to support on blue. There's things, yes, but I don't have some of them. Like, for example, enough copies of this Yukikase, which is pretty good. But yeah, on a mixed stage, there's the issue because I cannot use the big three, and I don't want to rely on a strategy that revolves around using snare. It takes a little bit of time. You have more control, but you sacrifice damage. So I'm gonna use this instead. Then we're gonna use Fox God's Arrow, which is our main damaging skill, but at the same time, it isn't. As I mentioned, the damage of this one it's a little bit lacking. Then Shosen as a damaging skill, but it's not the best. No, we're not using Chosen, we're using Foxfire. No, we're not gonna use Foxfire. This skill, it is just not viable. Oh, but there's nothing else. And this one is not good on blue specifically. If it was perhaps red or green, I might use it, but no. Oboro Guruma. No, I'll use instead of Foxfire, Chosen with Oboro Guruma so that I can reduce the speed of the enemy. Because this activation will allow me to use the combo Chosen Oboroguruma, Fox God's Arrow Oboroguruma. Yeah, we want to start with the combo as I said, because the pure blue skill doesn't have the best AoE as I mentioned, and I forgot the command. One thing that I almost forgot. The basics from Sora are very particular. You can interrupt them and the combo still goes on. So look, I'm gonna do a couple basics and I continue. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it properly. Let's see. Let's do this, then a skill, then this one, and done. That was the finishing attack, I think. No, this one. You see that I started my combo with a finishing attack? It's because you keep the charge. It's weird. Why are you over there, Edwin? You see? You see why this skill has an issue? The AoE is not good enough. It needs a way to lock onto the enemy, to pull the enemy. I don't know. There's different ways to solve this, but honestly, most of Sora's skill need a buff or rework. She's one character that desperately needs that renewal, but that's gonna take a while because she hasn't even received her limited set. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna use the ultimate. I'm not gonna wait. We do this and skill and a skill. There. Done. Almost. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. So as you can see, HP recovery is not an issue with this build in particular. I'm just going to do this and may I just do this? Yeah, the super armor is also pretty good on those skills. Nice. I'm going to use the active, I'm going to use the skill. Let's see. Yeah, the follow-up attack is not the best thing in the world. As I mentioned, it has utility, but it doesn't have damage. So that's why you don't want to use that many of Sora's skills. It's the bad activation commands along with the bad effects and the damage. Yeah, Sora is definitely something that hasn't aged well. Yeah. Let's hope that Gremory does fix her. And honestly, I would like Gremory to enhance her red build with the limited sets so that they can focus on blue and green on their renewal. Like green doesn't need that much buffs, but it does need a couple. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Now let's go with the silly one. The weapon active build. As I mentioned, Sora is one of the characters who can actually do weapon active builds, which is something pretty rare in the game. There's not that many characters who have weapons that they want to spam. But why can she? Because she has particle charge increase on the passive of his weapon, or well, her weapon, and she also has an active that deals damage. So it does use 5 particles, but it doesn't really matter because we have ways to do this. So we're gonna be using. Oh, I'm gonna change this. I almost forgot. Let me think. I'm just gonna do. Yeah, I do this so that I have the Magatamas. I put Mica, Future Mica, there. Future Marker we want on the main because it gives us extra critical rate, and we can use the active to charge particles. Then we use the best weapon active supporter in the game, which is Ingrid. And depending on what you want to do, you can use generic damage increase, like using Saika or Nano. We can also use Momo. There's also a red R supporter that I don't have here, but I do have it, 5 out of 5, which increases particle charge. And there's also Hikage. I'm gonna use Hikage just for the fun of it. And yeah, that's it. This is going to give me an absurd amount of particle charge. We want to use Celestial Fox because of the amount of multi-hits. We want to use the basic enhancer because of the particle charge increase and speed increase. And we want to use... let's see. We want to use either Shosen or Gotsumao. I think we're going to use Shosen because of the multi-hit. So, yeah, there we go. Let's go with Bunny outfit, which doesn't have bunny ears. So, there we go. This is funny, but similar to the green build, it has a big issue, and that's that it doesn't have HP recovery. If you want to use this on BR, it is fine, but you definitely want to... you definitely want to have a healer. And I almost forgot, we have Micah. So we want to enhance the... We want to recharge as much as possible and use the active as much as possible so that we get damage stacks from the supporter. As you can see, it's just pretty abusable, pretty good. Like that. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, well, whatever. Here you go. Yeah, as long as I sometimes forget whether I am confused or not. There we go, another active. Another active. Another active. Whatever. It doesn't matter that he heals. And it doesn't matter that I don't hit, as long as I get the particles and I continue having that attack increase. So I could use the what's the name? The ultimate, but I'm not. I'm only using it on an emergency. My god, how much I recharge. I mean, this is a good moment to actually use the ultimate. Let's do the ultimate, why not? I mean, you can use it. Just that you want to keep those particles up as much as possible and two ultis. And we do this. And we have another ultimate. So it also works for ulti spam if you want to do it this way. And done. Yeah, so ulti spam is not that bad with this build. As a way to stop the enemy and keep dealing damage because you cannot heal. So it works, as you saw. It is a good emergency trick that you can do. So now let's do a build that revolves around Celestial Fox. We could do it with triple or we could do it with double. Depends on what you want to do. Honestly, double work for me. But I might do the triple since we do have this. Yeah, it is good damage. I do this and also add... Wait a moment. Why did I do it with... because I used the speed increase. I did the speed increase, yeah. But what we can do is that we use this one, and this one, and we deal an absurd amount of damage, and we can also get the speed increase, but different. So these are going to be the supporters, pretty aggressive critical supporters, and I also have critical rate thanks to Ride and a Rose. So we use Celestial Fox, Fox Flame, and we keep Chosen, but now that we have it on red, we're going to have the speed increase. If you want to go with 2 green, you could use Oboroguruma instead. It is a decent option. If you want to go with 2 red, you can use Foxfire as a way to have HP recovery. So, yeah, it is fine, it is fine. Let's just put the standard custom and let's do this one pretty quickly. So basically we just do this and let everything die. Yeah, the damage is just absurd. But as you can see, the cooldown is really unfortunate. So we do want to get above on the cooldown of most of her skills. And just as easily, I eliminated a whole wave of enemies. Let's see. Oh, I am not confused. That's why. And come on, like this. Perfect. I'm gonna use the ulti with him so that I don't use it with the next wave. And there's one big flaw here, and is that we don't have an active. But honestly, I don't need it, because the damage is just absurd. And dealing with the waves of enemies is not that difficult. We do want to play as an actual range attacker with this specific build. We just reposition, and we use our skills, and that's it. And whenever they get near, we use our close range attack skills. And we use the ultimate. And there we go. Nice. You see how disgustingly good this is? Honestly, it's probably one of the strongest pure colors not pure color, mixed color characters. It is very strange that her pure color skills or pure color builds aren't as strong as this one. So yeah, honestly, I think that with a slight buff and tweaking some skills and changing some skills, the ones that work for melee when you're a ranged attacker, this one, and this one, it could be an amazing character. So, very quickly, let's check her weapons. We always check their weapons. So, no, these are not the weapons. The weapons. Sora. Over here. So, what does Sora has? As I mentioned, she has an anti-trade weapon, which already makes her a pretty good and FTP-friendly unit. We also have, let's see, what else? Freikugel's Samael, which you saw, it is a niche weapon, I won't deny that. As a generic weapon, you can use it just to get your ulti faster, but the main appeal is to use the active or ulti spam. But for that, you need the right supporters. Then we have the Momochi weapon. You can equip it, yes, but it doesn't particularly... You don't get any kind of particular benefit out of using this as a Momochi weapon user, because she does have multi-hit, but she's not the fastest. And she doesn't abuse multi-hits like Felicia. So I wouldn't recommend this particularly. You can equip it, yeah, as filler, it's no problem. Evil Huntress, well, demonic weapons are bad, just the way they are designed. It's as simple as that. And that's it. She doesn't have a renewal weapon or a character limited set weapon, which is unfortunate. But basically use either Photon Arrow, Freikuger Samael, or any weapon that you can equip. So let's do a quick review and analysis of what she does. She is a ranged attacker, but she has a stiff competition. She has to compete with, let's see, with Eleanor, which is pretty good thanks to a weapon, and she also has good utility, so it is already rough of a start. Aina is worse than her. She's a mid-range attacker, and Sora is a long-range attacker. The same, Eleanor is a mid-range attacker, but Eleanor deals more damage than Sora, and Aina still needs to find her identity. She needs buffs and her limited set. Micah. Micah is a really, really strong attacker. She debuffs the enemies with defense reduction. She deals a ton of damage. She has excellent AoE on her skills. Also tracking capabilities. So it is rough. It is rough because she's way better than Sora. Then we have Astaroth, the best range attacker, of course. We also have Emily, which she is busted, yeah, for sure. But on challenging content, she acquires new roles and those different things. She can deal damage, she can be a healer, she can be a debuffer, she can be a buffer, and everything depends on how much gear you have on her. But I mean, she's really, really strong, and you would want to use her over Sora. And Yukikase, it's too soon for me to talk about her because she needs to be stronger, weapon-wise and also level-wise. So I'll leave that to later. So, unfortunately, right now the only thing that is weaker than Sora is Aina. But Aina is weaker by a lot. And Sora is just in the middle of all these excellent range attackers. So, yeah, she needs a buff. She needs a buff, or two buffs desperately. Uh, should you get this character? It is not a priority, guys. You can get it, sure, if you want, if you like it. If you have the gear and you have been saving it, yeah, get it. Why not? She is good as filler for your BRs, for your BR builds. She can perform well enough. I already mentioned that, but she doesn't outperform other range attackers, other long range attackers like Micah, like Astaroth. So, yeah, she's on a rough spot. But let me know in the comments what you think about this character. Do you think she's actually better? Do you think she needs a buff? How would you change her skills? What kind of leader skill would you like to see on her? What color do you want buff, or what kind of niche do you want buff with her limited set weapon? Let me know in the comments. I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!